Welcome to the table, where God feeds the hungry, lifts up the excluded, and overturns injustice.
From unlikely invitations to a promised wedding feast, Scripture reminds us that Jesus' table is a place of justice, generosity, and hope.
This is the Tear Fund Australia podcast.
Come take a seat.
Melody,
Joel.
I think it's time for like a huge, massive, incredible, wonderful feast.
It's always time for that.
Surely it's time. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be talking about the future feast, right? Today, my name's Joel McCarrow. I'm the artist ambassador for Tear Fund, and this is Melody.
I'm Melody, and I'm part of the team at Tear Fund.
Fantastic. And we're at a feast table today. Tell us about this table. What are we doing?
Yes. In Revelation, at the very end of the Bible, there's this little mention of something really significant and big, and that is the wedding feast of the Lamb.
Nice.
And there's an invitation.
Do we get to eat lamb at the...
Well, it's for someone else to decide.
Great. Okay.
But all are invited to come and take their seat there. And we have joining us to talk about this future feast is Naomi Chua. I actually got to sit down at a table with Naomi.
At her table?
At her table,
Lovely.
This beautiful big dining table with like a pew on one side, and it was very special. We ate soup and bread, and we were so immersed in the conversation that I didn't realize that the video camera that was recording cut out.
So they only get to see half of this.
They only get to
see, they can hear the whole thing.
They can hear the whole thing.
Okay, great.
They can hear the whole thing. We'll come straight back in. So it's a good one to really tune into the audio. But it was a great chat. Naomi Chua is the CEO of Embrace Sanctuary in Melbourne. The work of Embrace Sanctuary is around helping local communities to welcome refugees.
Oh, great.
They work with a lot of refugees, directly people who've been displaced from their homelands. They work with schools and community groups to help them explore some clear pathways of how they can connect with people and hear their stories and be part of each other's lives. Naomi is a mum to 3 and married.
What are their names? Don't they have like
yes, they do.
Crazy Z names or something?
Zan, Zia, and Zuri.
Great.
Yes, which is great. She is a beautiful person. It's a beautiful conversation and a really, really nice way to bring together a lot of the themes that we've talked about over the last 7 weeks. So here we go.
Let's have a listen.
Can you share about a table that has been significant for you?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't exactly a table, but served as a table. I lived for a number of years in Kenya and South Africa. And during my time in Kenya, it was a really formative time for me. And they had Hessian bags in the Kibera slums that we used to gather on and share our meals. And I think the thing that was worlds apart from anything that I had ever experienced and known before. But the beauty of being able to gather in these slums with people who had nothing and to see their incredible hospitality and generosity with the very little that they had and the joy that then just came from them being able to share what little they had with me and share their stories and their hopes and their dreams and their struggles in their life was a really, really beautiful illustration of how we can come together over something that's very tangible, practical, very embodied. Eating food, it's a great leveler. We all need to do it. To allow myself to be served as well was a really kind of formative imprint for me around the importance of eating together and forming community that way.
What kind of posture is required to receive hospitality like that, particularly when you're so aware of maybe the inequalities and the lack that is in that context?
Yeah, it's incredibly challenging, especially to undo a lot of just kind of inbuilt assumptions that I may have grown up with or that we're surrounded with culturally. It takes a lot of humility. So I would say it's mainly this posture of humility, which requires just a really deep curiosity, I found. And so for me to have this curiosity and allow myself to be served and to ask questions about why things are done, and it was just really important, and something that's carried on, I think, in terms of understanding how to see that mutuality flourish. It's not about one-way giving, it's a real mutuality of giving and receiving. Yeah, which Jesus did all the time. He hosted meals, but he also allowed himself to be served. So I think that was an awesome example.
Yeah, that's so true. And you're right, there's so many examples through the Gospels, but also in the broader scriptures that happen in that space of eating together or coming around the table, sitting, eating, sharing, listening, serving.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was one in particular that we wanted to talk about today, and that's found towards the end of the Bible in Revelation. So we're heading into interesting territory here. But in chapter 19, it talks about this. It's a very small mention, but it's significant about this wedding feast of the Lamb. And I'd just love to hear what it is that has kind of like stirred and sparked for you in thinking about that passage.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. When I saw the passages, it wasn't my first choice of passages because there's lots of other ones that I use all the time in my work. But this passage we actually used as our wedding passage for our sermon in our wedding. And it was specifically used for that reason, because it's this beautiful, lavish image of hospitality and generosity, and it's joyous and it's celebration, and there's been a lot of anticipation and preparation for the bride to ready herself for this marriage supper. And it's also this picture of just incredible grace, of the bridegroom just inviting people to come and share this marriage supper. And so that was important for us at our wedding, to have that as the image of what we're hoping our lives would be and embody as a couple and then as a family. And it's very much, I think, what my work at Embrace Sanctuary is all about. It's about creating these little glimpses of the kingdom of God, of a new way of being and a new way of being with one another. And it's all about togetherness and about unexpected gatherings and, gathering with all the wrong people like Jesus used to do. He gathered with the tax collectors and the prostitutes. And similarly here, nobody can earn their place at the table or buy their place at the table. It's an extravagant gift of grace. And again, it takes humility to accept that, that offer, that invitation, and to be a part of this, very unexpected but joyous gathering of people.
As you're speaking, I'm thinking about, well, for starters, like a wedding reception, whether that's a lunch or a dinner, and how planned that is, and how to the number of people that you can invite, and like, if we, we're going to go over quota if we invite those people. But just more broadly in our life, I think many of us, if we're going to host people in our home, it's very kind of like, okay, house is clean, we're going to have this, and it's planned in advance, and the interruptibility or the spontaneity of those kinds of gatherings that invite unexpected people, it's like that's automatically, like, for me, it gives me like,
out of the comfort zone.
Out of the comfort zone. 100%.
Absolutely.
And so it is a very striking picture to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
But this is the model. That God in Jesus is opening up. And paying attention to why we're getting uncomfortable about it and what that says about how we see ourselves and others in God.
Absolutely. And it's not just the model, but it's the vision.
Yeah.
Like this vision, it's right at the end of the Bible. It's what we're being left with, this incredible vision, which is so rich and full and life-giving and transforming. This is the vision. And it's like, this is the foretaste. This is the foretaste of the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
But it's not an abstract idea. Again, it's something very practical and tangible. It's grounded in something that we all do. We all eat, and it's an invitation for all of us to open up our tables and for our tables to be that place of the unexpected gathering and generosity and lavish hospitality. And I mean, that's something that I've learnt so much from the refugees that I've worked with over so many years. So many of the cultures that I work with from the Middle East are so incredibly generous and lavish in their hospitality. And so just to go and have a cup of tea with someone is never just that. It's like a whole feast that's laid out. So, yeah, it's really embodying this glimpse of God's kingdom, making it real.
Yeah. I love that idea that the tables that we share today can be like these little glimpses or foretastes of that ultimate table.
Absolutely.
What about if we think beyond our tables and how we do meals or how we do hospitality?
Yes.
What are the other parts of life where maybe we can bring this into our thinking and how we are following Jesus in making the table bigger, the table in other areas of life?
Yeah. I think it's all around that sense of welcome. It's just that general posture of openness. There's a vulnerability with being open, allowing yourself to be open with others, being open and vulnerable before people who you know think very differently to how you think or live very differently to how you live. In our work, we work lots with people from lots of different religions and cultural backgrounds. And so again, it's that, how can we have that posture of welcome and openness and invite connection, whether it's, in the workplace, whether it's at the sporting fields, wherever it is that you find yourself in life, or in the way that you're engaging with the things that you're seeing in the news and the things that are happening globally, instead of, us being formed and shaped and constrained by, our own little bubbles that we listen to or the things we've been shaped by, instead opening that up and having that curiosity and just, I wonder why, what has led to that, and what's their story that this would be happening, and how can I embody Jesus, a new kingdom, new way of being in this situation, in the way I engage with it, in the way that I talk to people about it, in the way that, I allow myself and my life to be impacted by it, how I pray. And I think that's a real challenge in our churches, because often, it's quite a common thing that when people feel threatened or if something is so different from their experience, that they tend to put up more defences and want to just retreat into their little communities. And I think the challenge for us is when we're faced with this difference and we're feeling threatened, to lean into that and ask, what is going on here? What am I, and have that curiosity to seek out people and their stories. And that's what we're really trying to do at Embrace Sanctuary with our schools program, for example. We go into schools and we have a lived experience library. So we take young refugees who go and share their stories. So we've got young Muslim women who go in and share their stories to these students, and the students are just blown away hearing their perspective and their voice, and it just enables everyone to be able to lower the defences and welcome some connection and curiosity.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I like the way that curiosity is it's such a grace-filled
Yes.
term, isn't it?
Yes.
Rather than kind of like
Judgment.
or even just any answers.
Yeah, that's
curiosity
right.
doesn't have to have an answer.
No,
It can
that's
ask
right.
the question and
Yeah.
allow stuff to be there.
That's right.
And it fits for something that is a now but not yet, right? You know, if we've got this vision of the table and the feast to come.
Yes.
It's okay that our tables today aren't perfect.
That's
and
right.
we get it wrong sometimes.
Absolutely.
We might not feel like we really have a handle on what's the right way to
Yeah,
do
that's
something.
right.
There's room for it to just be the glimpse and to be like, this is good for today, and I'm going to keep posturing myself towards that because I know that the ultimate and the future.
Absolutely.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's hope. I feel like that's hope.
Yes.
That feels hope.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, the thing that shuts down hope or extinguishes hope is when people are shut down, conversations are shut down and limited. But when you're opening it up and you're asking the questions, and that's possibility, and possibility is hope. It's not extinguishing anything or ending anything.
Yeah.
So, and it's just such a beautiful, rich gift of God that He gives us one another.
Yeah.
And especially when we lean in and engage with people who are very different from ourselves in every conceivable way, the things that we learn and how we're shaped by that is priceless. And that's just, one of the kind of extravagant gifts of God that He would give us and giving us this picture of this people from every tribe, language and culture gathered around the throne, which leads to this, this image of everyone together at the marriage feast.
Yeah. Do you have any other stories from your work that can kind of speak this and put some colour and life to it?
Yeah, so every year we run our Sanctuary Family Retreat, and it's big and it's chaotic and it's crazy, but it's wonderful. So we take about 110 to 120 people away for essentially a family camp, like a week where they come with their families, do all the fun things, canoeing and rock climbing and spontaneous sports comps and camp concerts and all the things. But the distinctive about this is that we're bringing together local communities and refugees, newly arrived, and also some asylum seekers who've been here for possibly a bit longer. But we've got people from multiple different languages, cultures, religions, people who've been here for varying levels of time. Some, before our last retreat, the families had only been here for 2 months, and then they're going away on this camp in the middle of nowhere with people they don't know and people who don't speak their language and are different religions and all of these things. So it's not a very natural thing for them to be doing. And yet very quickly on those retreats, the whole purpose of them is that everyone feels welcomed, they feel safe, they feel connected to one another, and they feel a real sense of hope for the future. And that's what we're aiming for, and we do it through adopting that really humble posture, wanting to really listen to people. So our big kind of training is let's speak less and listen more, and just be curious. Let's hear one another's stories. We share what people cook from all their different cultures. So we have an absolute literal feast. We have Palestinian food and Iranian and Afghan, and people are so excited to share their food and their culture and their stories and their lives. So because there's that openness and that vulnerability and that invitation to be together and to share those things together, the level of trust is built so quickly. And it's just such a rich time. And, like I said, totally chaotic, but wonderful. And just as even more stretching, I would say, for the locals than it is for others. Like everybody's, eating meals at different times, and it's
Yeah.
But for me, it's actually embodying this kingdom, this new kingdom, this new way of being together. How can we all listen to one another and love one another deeply? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah. You've talked a little bit about openness, vulnerability, and I'm conscious that for lots of people,
Yes.
being open and being vulnerable also means opening yourself up to having to confront
Yes.
things that are heavy, and hard, and tricky.
Yeah.
And rightly or wrongly, we can. Many of us who have the privilege of being able to choose how much we open ourselves up to,
Yes.
There's that desire to, take care of ourselves, all of which is really important. But this is one of those things that's tricky in this space. I wonder if you can just speak to that a little bit. What have you learnt, and what would you invite or offer to someone who might be feeling like, I don't know if I'm ready for what it's going to cost me?
Yeah. No, it's a great question, and it's a real tension that lots of people bring to any of the experiences we have, whether it's the school incursions or whether it's the retreats. And it's this whole sense that people often have of life is already very full. Life has already got a lot of stresses and demands, and I don't have the space within me to add more. And I think part of the thing is that comes from a position of, or a mindset of scarcity. Like, I don't have enough of me to go round, or I don't have enough energy, or I don't have enough time. Whereas I hold out retreats as an example, and I just want to invite people to see, look how lavish and abundant and life-giving and transforming these relationships and these experiences are. These are not something that's just costly.
Yeah.
It's something that is actually going to shape you and transform you and enrich your lives incredibly. And yes, there is incredible pain when I sit with the mother from Gaza who is just still in the trauma of losing everything and, her home being completely destroyed. But I can sit with her and hear her story and weep with her. And that is actually not just a gift for her, but it's actually a gift for me as well, because I am changed by that. And my heart is enlarged by that. And I get to see a bigger picture of who God is through that. So, yes, there is hard stuff and there is pain and there's stuff that's challenging and conflict, like all of those things, yes. But it's like people always say, it's through the hard stuff that we grow the most.
Yeah.
And that's through the stuff where that we are just, I always say, I feel like I've been given so much more than I've given to others. I've received so much more.
Well, Lent, which many of us are engaging in this series with, in the season of Lent, is an interesting season and a really sacred and special, and provides, I suppose, unique opportunities in the discipleship journey, following Jesus. Different things to reflect on, different practices to engage in.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would suggest that you would encourage people towards in this season to help just kind of show up to some of these ideas and questions?
I think two things. One is around posture and one is around presence. So posture and presence. I think, as we've talked about before, just having that posture of a learner, of a listener, of deep curiosity, and one of deep humility. So with whoever we meet, whatever we're reading, whether it's in scripture or elsewhere, just to have a deep curiosity, and to, so often in so many parts of our lives where having to kind of prove our proficiency and our competency and our and there's something really special about having this space, and you can define it by something like a period in Lent where you're just like, no, I'm not the expert in anything. I'm not the professional here. I've just got all of these questions, and this is a really safe space to ask them and to be curious and to listen to people. And so I just really encourage people to adopt that really posture of humility, which today is more important than ever, because in our global politics, everywhere we look around in our media, it's the opposite that's taking centre stage. It's, that bullying kind of bravado of power and strength, whereas this posture of humility can be quite disarming to people, because people are not expecting you to want to listen and ask questions and hear their story. So it's incredibly powerful. And then, but to adopt that posture, you also need to have presence and need to have that sense of presence with people. So open up those opportunities where you can just be present, where you can listen, where you can hear the stories. And you'll just be amazed at, the things God brings across your path when you just take yourself off the step of thinking you've got to have it all together and know it all, and instead just like, okay, I'm going to be really curious and I'm going to go and sit with my neighbour and just ask and be present with her and see what fills her days and then see what comes of those things. Yeah.
So we are coming to our final chat of the final episode right now. And I loved how she finished off her P. What she loves her alliteration with all of her Z children, her Z children, and now her P's of presence and posture. And I kind of like it in the sense that it almost sums up so much of, as we come to finish off this series, those two words, right? They sum up so much of what this series and the different words that I've heard throughout this series in terms of a posture towards humility. And a posture towards curiosity. Like these are the things that that I think almost in every episode we've been talking about changing our posture towards this world, towards ourselves, choosing to be beginners, to have a childlike mind, to all throughout it we've been talking about a posture of humility. So I love that this final episode, this final moment calls us back to that, to that kind of non-egotistical, I am here to listen and to learn, and then the present, to be present to the people around the table, to be present to the people in our lives, and to choose to listen to them without agenda, all the things that we've talked about over these last few weeks. Posture and presence, I love those two things coming together.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really nice way to capture a lot of those themes. I loved how this passage that we started the conversation with, which was her wedding passage, as she mentioned,
her actual wedding
passage.
And we're talking about the wedding
feast. An invitation to a wedding is, often sent months in advance, something to look forward to. And so this idea that this wedding feast is something that as followers of Jesus, we are looking forward to, because we know that our tables here today are always going to fall short.
Lavish as we might
make them. We will walk away unsatisfied because we are on this side of eternity and of restoration. We are in a way that we talk about it a lot is the now and the not yet. There's the not yet of the thing to come, the ultimate, the wedding feast, but we're living in the now. But our tables today can offer a glimpse, offer a foretaste of the table that's to come. Every time we set a table and we choose to make it a place of inclusion and welcome and hospitality and humility, we are kind of bringing the not yet.
We are
into
in some
the now.
ways having the wedding right now.
Yeah. And so I think it's a call to hope, but not a passive hope. This is something we've talked a lot about at Tear Fund in recent years, is hope being something that calls us into action. That when we act in hope together, it is in a way bringing that glimpse into the now.
Yeah. And I think I love that, taking it away from just the abstract, like you said, and bringing it and earthing it. And I loved how Naomi talked about that in terms of the work that they do of, what does she call it? Her lived experience library. I love that that they take refugee crew into schools and places and have them share their story, a lived experience library that people would be able to gather around that kind of table and learn from people that they never would have heard from or experienced before. And then also her sanctuary family retreat, another table that she creates where all these families come together, refugee families and families from Australia, and they engage and they learn from each other and listen and have fun together. Like, beautiful examples, so that it's not this abstract, just metaphoric thing out there, but it's actually the future is something that can be lived in the here and now.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's the kingdom of God. That's the offer of all of this, right? That's the whole heartbeat of the scriptures of everything we've been talking about these 7 weeks of it's everything.
Yeah.
That the kingdom of God might be lived out in the here and now in such a joyous, wonderful, explorative, curious. It's so, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. And the wonderful thing, Joel, is that the table doesn't have to end here.
The table doesn't have to end, even though we're about to end now.
This is our final episode, but
yes,
this table remains set.
Great.
We can keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of ways to do that.
Yes.
One is, go back through, listen to the episodes, listen back to the interviews. Maybe you can do that in a group context as well.
Oh, yeah, great.
We'll be here chatting away. We'll be here. Go back and listen, share the episodes, like the episodes, and that way they'll get in front of more people who might find this a really timely and needed conversation.
Yeah. And as if you wouldn't want to sit around with your friends and have us to chat to you at Bible study or whatever small group thing you do for few weeks. That'd be a great idea.
Be great. I will say, if you're getting a bit sick of our voices, it is possible. It's conceivable. No. We have actually put together a whole resource around the table that picks up on these interviews that we've shared, the conversations we've had. There's reflections from each of the guests that we've had along the way.
Right.
There's also some beautiful, beautiful artwork that's been created. So if you're a visual person, you can go and have a look at those and kind of engage with these ideas in a different way.
Yeah, that's good.
We're going to put links to all of these things in the notes there. There's also some ways that you might like to gather with a group and share your own table. So we've put together a kit for that.
Yeah.
You can access all of this through Tear Fund.
If people are interested in Tear Fund stuff specifically, can they choose to support Tear Fund in some kind of way?
100%. Yeah. And there's many ways that you can do that. You can give generously. And that is going to go to many of our partners like Oasis Mozambique and Zeve in Zimbabwe, many others that we've mentioned along the way, and that is used to support our Christian partners working with local communities who are tackling the root causes of poverty and overcoming challenges so that they can experience more of the flourishing and the fullness, the table that God has intended for them. So you can support Tear Fund through giving. You can become a restorer and do that monthly through a monthly gift.
Yeah.
Love you, restorers. Shout out to the restorers. But we know that financially is not the only way to do that. We need your prayers. There are big issues going on in the world, and we believe prayer changes things. And so there's ways that we gather around prayer together through Tear Fund. There are advocacy actions over the season of Lent that this has been released in. We're inviting people to raise their voice for a bigger table by encouraging the Australian government to increase our aid budget to just 1%. 1% of the aid budget. So we've got some really straightforward ways and ongoing advocacy calls that shift things around some of these issues of justice. There are lifestyle changes that you can make. There are ways that you can learn. There are so many stories.
That's a lot. That's so much stuff.
That people can learn from and draw near to.
Yeah, that's
pay attention to, listen to, be present to. All the things, Joel. It's great.
All the things.
Look in the notes. put the links there.
Yeah. Can we thank some people? I want to thank you for getting to hang out at this lovely table with me. It's been great to have these conversations. And 100%. We want to thank all of our guests as well.
Yes.
If I try to name them now, I'm likely to forget someone. So let's just say we had lots of guests and they were wonderful.
Yes.
And we really want to thank them for their time, their contribution, the sharing of their stories, right?
Indeed.
We also want to thank Thomas over here, who's behind the camera and behind the scenes here from Colossal Studios, for bringing this whole shebang together into the beautiful podcast that it is. Anyone you want to thank?
I just want to thank you for listening, for journeying with us, for being part of a movement of people who are really wanting to who believe that there can be an end to poverty and that injustice can be tackled, and we can do that together in really real-time, real-life ways, like coming around tables. But thank you so much for listening and engaging with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And may you indeed go and create picnic blanket tables, I think is where we started. Go and create tables wherever you are, inviting people to come in to eat and drink and be merry, tables of equality and justice. And we'll see you out there making our own tables, going and being present at the tables of people that we don't necessarily even want to be at their tables, choosing to be people who are engaging in this world. Go in grace and with generosity and what were the P's?
Posture
and presence and all of the other alliteration that we can think of. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much.
We'll see you at a table somewhere. Thanks so much for listening. This podcast is brought to you by Tear Fund Australia, a movement of Christians working in partnership to end poverty and tackle injustice. Wherever you're listening, please like, subscribe and share. And for more resources, stories and ways to engage, visit tearfund.org.au.